Tres. Hello, hello,
Hello,
Eduarda.
hello, Manuel.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm Manuel Vale. For my Unit 8 assignment, I'm speaking with Ana Pereira, who works in production and operations for a European fashion brand. We don't, we won't name the company or its supplier for privacy. Anna, thanks for joining me. Are you happy for me to record this interview and submit with my assignment?
Yes, that's completely fine. I'm happy to take part of this.
So great, thank you. To begin, how does your organization ensures a positive and consistent customer experience across all touch points?
Well, it starts before the product reaches the website. We compare the finished item with the approved sample and technical information. We check the measurements, the color, the fabric, the stitching, labels, and also the packaging. Um, the customer opens the item at home that should match what they saw online. And if a detail changes during production, that update also has to reach e-commerce, the warehouse, and also the customer care. Otherwise, the product and the information given to the customer may not be consistent.
So even without speaking directly to customers, productions affects most of their experience, right?
Exactly. Quality isn't only the garment, it also includes accurate information, packaging, delivery, and the response when something goes wrong. The hardest part is usually the handover between teams, especially after a late change.
So yeah, that makes sense. But can you describe like a recent customer complaint or service breakdown and how it was resolved?
Yes, I have one example. Wasn't a customer complaint because we caught it before dispatch, but it was still a service breakdown. During the final inspection of some jackets, we found neck labels in the wrong position and stitching that didn't fully match the approved sample. Then we held the affected pieces, we separate them and asked the supplier to correct them. We also informed the warehouse and the e-commerce teams because the launch timing could change. After the rework, we inspect the jackets again before reselling them to make sure that everything is okay.
Did you change the process afterwards or treat it as a one-time issue?
Yeah, we changed it. We had a reference photo of the correct label position to the pre-shipment checklist. It was a simple step, but it removed any doubt that could have. The problem didn't appear in later checks, so we knew the change had helped.
That shows how quickly plans can change. And how was those your team respond when customer needs or market conditions change unexpectedly?
Well, we bring the relevant people together quickly, which may include production, the design team, buying, commerce, and also the logistics. We decide what is most urgent, what the supplier can really do, and what the customer will notice. For example, a material delay recently threatened a campaign. We protect the main campaign style and approved an alternative trim for a less urgent style after checking the quality. We also use a short daily check-in and shared tracker with an owner and deadline for every action.
So, how do you stop information from getting lost while decisions are moving that quickly?
Well, one person records the decision, what was approved, and who must be informed. It sounds basic, but it really matters. If a decision stays only in a call or chat, people can understand it differently, especially across suppliers and internal teams.
Yeah, you mentioned short check-ins and shared trackers. Are there any specific agile practice or tools you organize uses to maintain quality while adapting quickly?
But we don't use formal agile language in every meeting, but we use
Okay.
similar practice. For example, during busy periods, we have short stand-ups and use Asana to track tasks and deadlines sometimes. Sample reviews happen in short cycles. We receive a sample, give the comments, and then check the next version. When possible, we test a change before approving the full production. We also define what done means. A style isn't complete until the sample, the measurements, all the photos of the product, and the quality checks that to make sure that everything is approved.
So would you say the main advantage is the speed of it?
But to be honest, speed helps, but the real advantage is clarity. Everyone can see what is still open, so we can react quickly without lowering the standard. Moving fast without that visibility normally creates rework later.
Okay. So looking at quality more broadly, what are the most important service quality standards in your industry?
Well, the product needs to match the approved sample and the technical pack. That includes measurements, fabric, and color consistency, the stitching, the labels, the packaging, overall, all the appearance. Delivery time is also part of the service because a good product arriving after the campaign still creates a problem. So it's important to make sure that everything is current. If a composition label is wrong or the online description doesn't match the item, the customer loses trust in the company, which may also face a compliance issue.
Okay, yeah, I understand. But out of all those problems, which type would concern you the most?
I think anything involving safety
Okay.
or incorrect legal information comes first. Composition or care label issue is very serious because customers rely on it and it affects traceability. I would also worry about the visible difference between the approved sample and final product because the customer noticed that immediately when she
Right.
received this.
And how do you measure and monitor either these standards or being met?
We use sample approvals. We inspect all the samples and we check with the supplier. We make every time a follow up and all the final checks. We also review the defect, the rework rates, the late deliveries, uh, all the complaints, and the return reasons.
Mm-hmm.
High rework rate may point to a supplier issue, while repeated returns can reveal unclear product information.
Mm-hmm.
The most difficult is that the data sits in several places, including the spreadsheets, the Asana, the inspection files, and also the customer service reports.
All right. If you could improve the monitoring, what would change first?
I would create a simple dashboard, maybe by supplier and style, showing the defects, the rework, all the delays, complaints, and the reasons of return. We already collect most of that information. Seeing it in one place would help us spot patterns and act before a small issue keeps repeating.
All right. I want to move to the ethical side of quality. And can you share me an example where ethical considerations influence a quality related decision in your organization?
Yeah. For example, we once found a difference between the verified product information and the composition label. just before dispatch. Releasing the order would have protected the launch date, but we couldn't be sure the customer information was correct. So
Mm-hmm.
we held the shipment while the label and records were checked and correct. That created pressure because the campaign was already planned, but sending it would have transferred the risk to the customer. A short delay was the more responsible choice.
Right. And was everyone comfortable with holding the shipment, or was there pressure to choose the faster option?
Of course, there was commercial pressure because several teams had planned around that date, but our managers support the hold. We focus on what we could honestly approve
Yeah.
and prove with the correct records. That made the decision much clearer.
Okay. That brings us to the wider process. What governance structures or policies are in place to ensure ethical and quality compliance, right?
The approved technical pack and sample give everyone the same reference. We also use quality checklists, supplier requirements, compliance documents. So suppliers must follow a code of conduct. Any exception is documented and escalated
Right.
to the production or quality manager. Uh, if it could affect legal information, safety, or a large order, senior management joins the decision.
Right.
One person shouldn't make and approve a serious
Uh-huh.
exception alone without evidence.
Okay. So there is room for quick decisions, but not undocumented ones, right?
Exactly. Small decisions happen every day, but the serious exception needs a clear reason, the right approval, and the record of what changed.
Okay.
That protects the customer and makes responsibility clear for everyone involved.
Okay. And yeah, thinking about the future, what skills do you think will be the most important for quality professionals in the industry over the next 5 years?
Uh, I think data literacy will be important because quality professionals must connect inspection results, delivery performance, and customer feedback. They also need confidence with digital product systems, while knowing when women judgment is necessary. In fashion, sustainability requirements and strong product knowledge will matter even more. Good professionals will understand the data, examine the physical product, and explain the risk clearly
Um,
to
to
different
dif-
departments.
okay. But do you think AI could replace part of the quality role?
I think it can support the role by finding patterns in defect reports or returns faster than someone checking files one by one. But it can replace the person who knows how a fabric should feel, notice stitching problems, picks with a supplier, or takes some responsibility for an ethical decision. It should help people make more and better decisions.
Right. So we have more 2 minutes for this interview, and that leads to my final question. How is your organization preparing its workforce for these future skills requirements?
So the company provides training on internal systems, supplier process, and also the product requirements. We also learn through daily work with design and all the other teams. Supplier reviews and post-season
Right. Uh-huh.
discussions. Let people share what went wrong and what they
Okay.
would change. Some development is still reactive, though, so short and regular sessions based on real case would prepare us better than online
So,
general training.
what practical improvement would you introduce first?
Maybe a short quarterly case session. Um, the team could take a real defect or delay, review the dates, discuss the customer and ethical impact, and agree on prevention.
All right.
Connecting it to the dashboard I mentioned would make the training practical because it would use problems the team already recognizes.
That's a really good point to finish on. And thank you so much for your time and practical examples. This helped me understand how customers experience quality, ethics, and future skills connect in production. Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome. It was useful for me too because we usually focus on the next issue and don't always stop to connect everything. So I'm glad I could help.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. See you.
See you.